Okay, so first, thank you, Seth, for doing this. I was honestly not expecting a reply because I know you are flooded with emails, and I was really surprised, and it took me off guard. But I'm happy you decided to do this, and it's an honor, like I said.
It's a pleasure, Pranav.
Yeah, so for like a couple of people who don't know you, so Seth is a lot of things. He's an entrepreneur. He's an author of a few best-selling books. He is a marketing guru, if I can call you that, and a lot of things. And someone who has played a big impact in my life. So Seth, I basically got to know about you when I was traveling to Nepal for a retreat through a podcast that you did with James Altucher, and that kind of blew me away. After which I got into your work, and it's been quite a ride since then. So by the way, you do have a lot of admirers in India, by the way. So when I told a couple of my friends that I'm talking to Seth today, so they flooded me with a few questions, and one of them pointed out that you like papad. So is it true that you do you like Indian food?
Well, I'm a pretty difficult eater, but yeah, I make pop out all the time. Today I made dosas for lunch for everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was good. My basmati rice was a little weak, but the tomato masala what they I served was very good with the dosas.
Okay, okay. You were in India for a few months, weren't you? Working with a firm.
Yeah, I support Acumen, which is a organization that helps entrepreneurs in India and other places, and I've been to India twice.
Okay.
I've been to Bareilly and Delhi and Hyderabad and to little villages along the way. Great people, great people.
Yeah.
Really an honor to have been there.
Okay. So I'll get into the Q&A right away. So a friend of mine, Indrajit, wants to know, and I think a lot of us want to know because one thing that people appreciate a lot about Seth is the clarity of thought or the the humility that he brings or the calmness that he carries around. In fact, just a few moments ago, in the mail also you were concerned about the timings in India and about my sleep. How do you do it? Is there any practice? What is the secret?
One of the things that's cool about India is how many engineers there are.
I'm
Uh,
an engineer.
more, there are probably more engineers in India than any other country in the world. Uh, because engineers do things that work.
Okay.
They build things, they make things happen. And I was trained as an engineer. And one of the things that you learn is if something is not advancing the project, it's probably not a good idea to spend time and money on. So it's possible to spend your whole day being flustered and upset, being uh, unstable as you try to find firm footing. The question is, does that help you do your work? And if it doesn't help you do your work, then it's distracting you from what you ought to be doing. And I have had lots of practice at being flustered and upset and off kilter, and I have discovered it doesn't help. So I've worked hard to not do it because it doesn't help.
Okay. So, you talk a lot about doing the work that matters, right? Uh, but what if uh, there's someone who does not really know what work to pick up, and they are confused about which steps to take. So, do you think it's a process of discovery? Do you think there are a lot of trial and errors just for you to discover your own self as you progress through work?
Nobody knows. It's a mistake to believe that people who seem to know. Elon Musk is busy making electric cars, and then tomorrow he starts working on rocket ships, and the day after that, nobody knows. That
Okay.
it's always a journey. If you can accept that you will never find the answer, it's easier to explore along the way because you realize that if no one knows, seeking to know is a waste of time. That it is better to do something that helps other people, something that changes the game. And then if you can do something better than that, switch to that. But the real investment is figuring out that you're on a journey here, that it's not a destination, it's a process.
Okay. All right. Uh, Seth, do you fundamentally think that it is starting a business to make money is not a good intention to start a business? Do you think?
Well, I think it's totally fine to start a business to make money. That what we do when we market is we make a promise and we offer to solve a problem. And if that problem is valuable enough to solve, people will pay money to solve it. If they pay money to solve it, then you get to invest money in solving it for more people.
Okay.
So the person who sells plumbing supplies doesn't have to believe in plumbing. They don't have to believe that they're eliminating cholera. They don't have to believe that they're somehow elevating mankind. Mankind has a plumbing problem. And if they can solve your plumbing problem in exchange for money, I've got no problem with that whatsoever. I think that's a totally fine thing to do with your day.
Okay. But then, as far as the art is concerned, so do you think that gets lost in the process?
Well, it depends. If you want to make art and stop looking for excuses or reasons not to. Now, if the art you make becomes popular and people pay you a lot of money, now you have a problem. And your problem is you might want more money. But to get more money, you think you have to make more art. And now suddenly the art you're making isn't your art, it's something you're doing to make money.
Hmm.
And when those two things collide is when people start to become unhappy. But, I wrote a post a few years ago, I think it was called Maybe You Can't Make Money Doing What You Love. And if that's true, then maybe you should start loving what you do instead. And that's okay too.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so this point leads me to uh, the analytics part. So I know you don't keep a track of the. I was saying that this point actually brings me to the analytics part, the insights.
Analytics, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know that you don't keep a track of the books that you have sold, the visitors that you have on the website. Uh, so because I come from a digital marketing background, I know that people do keep a track of wrong things. Uh, so is it ambitious of me to think that there can be a world possible where even bigger brands keep a track on the number of lives that they have changed instead of the money that they have made? Do you think that's a possibility?
All right. So let's just break this down a little bit. So in the United States,
Hmm.
radio stations make money by selling ads. And the bigger their ratings, the more they can charge for their ads. So the people who run radio stations had a problem, which is how do I make our ratings go up? Well, this is what they did. They realized that the people who write down the ratings so in the little book so they can count how many listeners they have. Do you understand how that works? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Sometimes would listen to a radio station and not write it down. So instead of making their radio station more popular, what they all started to do was repeat the name of the radio station over and over and over again. Because if you say the radio station's name enough times, people will write it down and your ratings will go up. Now, the number of people listening to you hasn't gone up. All that's gone up is the ratings. So if that was your goal, it works, except that's not really your goal. Your goal is to have a radio station that has a lot of listeners. That's the goal. So you've measured the wrong thing.
Okay.
Now, if I've built a plumbing supply company and my goal is to make a profit, I should measure my profit because the thing you measure is the thing that goes up. Should I measure how many Facebook likes I have? No, because Facebook likes are not correlated with profit. There's all sorts of things the plumbing guy can do to get more likes, but the likes are not profit. So the art of analytics is finding a measurable number that is actually related to the thing you want to go up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for a while, it was the recommendation score. It turned out that businesses that have loyal customers that recommend them often make more money. So it was announced, that's what you should measure. You should measure how many people would say yes to, could you recommend this business to a friend? And that worked until people figured out that was getting measured. And then they started gaming the system. So when you went to a car dealer in the US, they would say to you when they gave you the car, someone's going to call you tomorrow and ask you this question. And if you're not ready to say yes, please tell me now. Well, that's not the point. You're gaming it again. So I'm in favor of analytics if you are measuring the right thing. And what I discovered about social media is I know how to get more followers. I know how to get more likes, but that's not my goal. So since it's not my goal, I shouldn't measure it. I shouldn't pretend and sort of measure it. I shouldn't measure it, period. So do I think we can get to a day where impact on the community is aligned with a goal the shareholder has? Yes, for sure. But in the meantime, we're getting distracted by a lot of noise that we should just ignore.
Okay. Seth, why do you think this is happening? Because everywhere people are competing on social media as far as the likes is concerned. I mean, it's a big number, the number of page likes you have. Why do you think everyone is so obsessed with the competition? And it just reminds me of the cab driver example that you gave during that talk. Everyone wants to make compete, and no one is really measuring the right things. Why is it happening?
If I was sitting here with one of these little meters going back and forth as you were talking to me,
Yeah.
whatever you felt was making it go this way, you would do more of, because that's what competitive people do. If
Huh.
there's a scorecard, they want their score to go up. And so what the social media people figured out is if they publish the scorecard and really focus on it, people would do what they needed to do to make it go up. Well, that actually helps the social media network. So as long as it does, that's what they're going to do, because they're not measuring how many likes you have. They're measuring how much are you changing your behavior against your short-term interests to make
Right.
your likes go up in a way that helps them. And you can play that game if you want, but I don't know why you'd want to.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question about the dip. So I've read the book, and one question that I think I still have about the book is that suppose there is someone with an idea, and let's say he is in the dip. So uh, at what point does he decide that, oh, this is a dip, or oh, this is a bad idea? So
Right.
how can one differentiate between a bad idea and being in the dip?
Sure. So I didn't answer that question because the answer is not obvious. There is no formula.
Okay.
Um, that knowing that the question exists is the first part of the battle. But mostly what I'm saying is take a hard look as to whether anyone has ever come before you on this road. So has anyone ever, you know, become a Bollywood star and then ended up in Los Angeles and won an Academy Award? No. Does that mean it will never happen? No, it might. It probably will. Will it happen to you? Probably not. So if you are willing to take that kind of 20-year bet, go ahead. But if you're on a shoestring and you're trying to make a project work, you should pick.
If you could just repeat the last few lines that you said, because then the connection got disconnected. You forgot?
Well, first I said I don't think I said anything that important.
Okay.
But before I said that, I said, so if you have limited resources, find a path someone's been on before you. There's still plenty of room to be you and to be original, but you don't have to be the first person who's ever done it in history.
Okay. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. I think I'll just end up with a couple of questions maybe. About tribes. So
Great.
you uh, you say that don't be a wandering generality. So be someone who is it's catering to a specific set of people. What I love about your work and the way in which it has impacted me is that it kind of lifts the pressure. It makes you feel as if you don't have to compete. It is not about the quantity. It is really about the quality. So you talk about building a tribe which is small, let's say 1 people or 12 people or 20 people. uh, What do you think should a person do if he is not sure what his or her tribe is?
Well, this goes back to the question you asked me before. How could you be sure? No idea. That doesn't mean you shouldn't start, right?
Okay.
That if you think about people who have made an impact, they always start with a different group and a different mission than they become famous for.
Okay.
So merely begin. That's it. Merely begin.
Okay. Okay. So you find these answers along the way.
That's where else are you going to find them? I don't know.
Okay. A question by a friend. So, what do you think? His name is Udayan, and he asks you, what do you think is the most important thing for a startup out of these three? Product, market, or like you like to call it tribe, or the third is team. So, product, tribe, or team. What is the most important?
Well, I think Steve Blank is correct. It's customer traction.
Okay.
If you have customers who like you, who want you, who would miss you, you're fine. And if you don't, you're toast. That's all.
Okay. Okay. So it's the market, it's the customers.
No, it's not the market. The market is this invisible thing. It's actual human beings with faces and names who would miss you if you are gone. Customer traction.
Okay. All right. So the last question I'll just ask is you talk a lot about dancing, with fear. And one of the things that amazes me about that sentence is mindfulness also, says the same thing that you have to be aware of your fear and observe it and not react to it, not push it away, but just be with it. And so I find a striking similarity between what you say and what mindfulness is. I have to ask you, do you meditate, Seth?
I do. I do. I don't do it as beautifully as I should or often enough, but it's
Okay.
an important part of my practice.
Okay. So, if you can, I mean, I know personally what you mean by dancing with fear. You have said this a multiple times, but for a few people that don't know, if you can elaborate this concept of dancing with fear.
Some people think that they can make the fear go away, that if they just wait long enough or prepare enough, the fear will go away and then they can do their work. But the fear never goes away. So the alternative is while the fear is still there, to welcome it, to invite it in for tea, and to dance with it. Because you can't make it go away. You can't make gravity go away either. Just because we have gravity doesn't mean you can't go run. And just because we have fear doesn't mean you can't ship your work. You ship your work and you have fear, not instead of having fear.
Okay. Okay. I have a 10-second question. So, my friend Ayush will.
Okay.
How do you keep your creativity sharp? Is what his question is. What exercises do you do to make sure that you keep on delivering high quality creative art?
I'm really focused on creating lousy, low quality work. And if you do enough of that, sooner or later, you'll end up with a good quality thing that you can ship. Your problem isn't that you need more good ideas, it's that you need more bad ideas.
Wow. Okay. I think this is a perfect end. So thank you, Seth. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Pranav, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Seth. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.